Okay, hey, black women. I really don't know what's going on in California, but I happen to be reading Google News, and I type in black women to find out what's going on with black women, what's happening to them throughout the country. And I find out that there is a very isolated epidemic in California where black women are being killed more so than anywhere else currently in the country. It's quite disturbing. I'm going to let you hear this article that I found. Oh, wow, this is really wild. And I wasn't aware of this, but okay, let me just give me 1 second because I can't read nothing without glasses. All right, so I'm going to play this voice reading of this article, right? And this comes from the Los Angeles Times, but let me let y'all hear how our black women and girls are being victimized and are at a high risk of victimization in California. I didn't even know this was going on. And this article was posted March 20th, 2023. Okay? It says, the article is like, new report finds black women and girls at higher rate of being killed in Los Angeles. So now let's hear it. It's going to be voiced by, that animated voice on Amazon, Amazon Polly. That's the voice you're going to be hearing read the article. Hold on.
New report finds black women and girls at higher rate of being killed in Los Angeles. A new report has revealed startling findings about black women and girls who remain at higher risk of victimization than any other demographic. In a Los Angeles Times report published Saturday, the deaths and disappearances of black women and girls receive far less attention from media and police than other races. The news echoes the afflictions placed on black women who are strained to overcome financial instability, income inequality, housing insecurity, and a myriad of other potential social safety risks, according to the report. Black women experience a unique position of precarity as a result of decades of discrimination, grounded both in racism and sexism, the report further detailed. According to data compiled by the Los Angeles Police Department, black women make up about 4.3% of the city's population, but account for 25% to 33% of its victims of violence. Furthermore, almost 500 women were killed in Los Angeles between January 2011 and August 2022, with nearly a third of them being black. Their deaths usually took place in poorer neighborhoods, while many of them were murdered by a domestic partner. The number of Latina women killed has risen significantly as well, according to the report, which states that murders among Latina women jumped by more than 38%, but black women were statistically the most overrepresented when equated to their share of the population. Basically, when things go wrong, women of color, particularly black women, get the worst of it, said Capri Maddox, executive director of the city's Civil Rights Department, told the Los Angeles Times. This is just another example of how we are othered. I mean, we deal with biases in the workplace, biases in medicine, and even biases in how to protect our personal safety. The report comes just months after the city elected its first black female mayor, Karen Bass, who has vowed to put gun violence as a top priority on her agenda as leader of the city.
We're going to see how that goes, right? But, wow, that shit is just freaking, it's disheartening. And you know what makes me upset about the whole thing is because black women have to start standing up against this. They got to stop being silent. I don't know what this stigma is about speaking up about black femicide. It's real. It's just as real as that bullshit ass Black Lives Matter movement. Like, there needs to be this is real. You need to have a black femicide, Black Women's Lives Matter, and little girls campaign. Like, that's what you need to be out here in these streets stomping and yelling and screaming about, because you just heard this. Now, my opinion of black femicide and my awareness of it is that I thought the Midwest, the West Coast, and different parts of the South were some of the worst places for black femicide. Now you find out that I wasn't even thinking about California, even though it's in the West. I'm not thinking about Cali because Cali is like the sister city to New York. So anytime things go crazy in Cali or New York, it's like, goddamn, what is everybody else doing? It's got to be twice as bad there. So this is just really crazy. And you cannot tell me that this is not a direct result of all these guys, because you know it's men killing these women, and black men and black males in particular, when it comes to the black women, watching these manosphere channels on YouTube, listening to all of this hate speech projected at black women. And this has to be addressed. There are too many women being killed because of this. Now, I saw today on my news, my nightly news in New York City, that representatives were saying that social media platforms were not being held accountable enough for the hate speech on its platforms. Now, they didn't specify hate speech, but you know what they're talking about. So I think it's about time we start putting a little, stoke some of that fire and get some more of that flame up, because we need to have this addressed. Even if it's a band of us content creators coming together and making a week load of black femicide awareness content so that it spreads through the internet. Like, we got to understand, in order for people to acknowledge what we're talking about, you got to keep putting it in their face. You know that old saying, the squeaky wheel gets the oil? We got to now be the squeaky wheel, because they're basically just not giving a fuck about what's happening to us, so we have to care. There's a little video here. I'm going to see if it'll play.
A story you will only see here on News 5. A disturbing report confirms what our investigators uncovered in our year-long series on domestic violence.
When women are murdered, the killer, more often than not, is their intimate partner. But that's not all the report revealed. 5 on Your Side investigator Sarah Buddison is here to tell us tonight which women are most at risk.
Black women.
Danita, the CDC report reviewed murders in 18 states over 18 years. It found black women are twice as likely to be murdered as women of other races. So we asked why.
They letting women die for 18 years. Do y'all hear this shit?
With intention to kill me.
It was a cold October night,
But it all backfired.
when Sonia Garth's ex-husband showed up at her door.
He
When he
looked like
shot
shit.
me, she jumped up to save her mother.
So Rufus Gray turned his gun on his stepdaughter.
Oh yeah, I heard this one.
He shot her.
The
And
bullet struck
killed that little
12-year-old
girl.
Davia dead.
And all I can hear in my mind is that
Mommy, he shot me.
he shot me, Mommy.
It's
Yeah,
very
I
dangerous
remember
to
this.
leave an intimate partner violence relationship.
Victoria Grant is the Justice System Advocate for the Domestic Violence and Child Advocacy Center.
That's the most dangerous time. Your risk of becoming murdered increases by 75%.
But this new CDC study found one group
Let me just stop for a minute. Let me tell you something. I don't give a damn how many times you hear somebody telling you that when you get ready to leave, that's the most dangerous time. And if it is, then that's the time that you become the most dangerous motherfucker. Do you hear me? Y'all better stop being cowards and start returning fire on these motherfuckers. Listen, nobody's supposed to put the fear of God in you except for something supernatural. And there's no man walking on the face of this earth that is supernatural. He is flesh and blood that can be chopped to pieces down to the ground or blown up by bullets or whatever the hell else. Please stop that fear. Please put a weapon in your hand, protect your head, and go to work. Please stop being afraid of these dudes, because they are nothing to fear. Not a damn thing. I'm going to let this video play.
group of women are more at risk. Reviewing data from more than a dozen states, including Ohio, It found black women are murdered at twice the rate of white, Hispanic, and Asian women.
We just don't trust systems because systems have never worked in our favor.
So black domestic violence victims are less likely to seek counseling or call police, increasing the risk they'll be killed by their intimate partner.
It's just not a simple matter of leaving. I have to have a plan in place that will allow me to leave safely without the risk of homicide.
When it happened to me, I didn't know about domestic violence agencies. I didn't know about shelters or
She's lying.
people that you can talk to on
Everybody
the phone.
knows
Sonia
that
was
shit.
abused for years before she kicked Gray to the curb. She had no idea leaving him could have.
Okay, let's stop the bullshit, okay? Black women, let's stop fucking around. We have been black in America for hundreds of fucking years. And in hundreds of fucking years, we have been subject to domestic violence, sexual assault, and people just randomly thinking that they can beat on us and do whatever they want until they find out otherwise. So this is not anything new to anyone. So this woman is lying. And it's ridiculous that she would sit there and lie after her own child was unalive due to her irresponsibility. Let me tell you something. Everybody, including me, has had a man try to get strong on them, okay? They all try it. It's just something in them. So the first time that person tries it, and you do not completely let them know, I am not the one for that shit. No matter what you do, if it is calling the cops, stabbing them up, taking a pipe, a heavy frying pan, whatever it is that you get your hands onto, and you open them up, or you crack their head open to the damn white meat, you do what you got to do. Or you get your brothers or cousins or whoever it is, because I have a family like that. They will come over and take turns whooping that dude's ass, okay? Do whatever you got to do the first time, and then make that be your last time. And then after that, every other man, when you're talking to him, if you notice that he has a temper or he doesn't know how to control himself, or if you're having a conversation and he gets angry about your opinion, you know that is a person you don't ever need to be dealing with. Never get in a relationship with them. Just leave them alone completely, because they are violent, and either they're going to end up putting you in a position where you have to kill them, or they're going to kill you. So let's stop playing. That lady is full of crap, okay? And the news article and the whole United States is full of crap as well, because how you going to let 18 years go by studying black women being killed and other women getting killed, and you don't do nothing about it? What the hell is wrong with you? You just sitting down letting people get all jacked up and taken out of here to prove a statistical point? That's beyond fucked up.
Lethal results.
We are forever destroyed. I can't pick the pieces up and say, okay, well, we're gonna move on, we're gonna do this. There's no pieces to pick up.
The CDC study confirms something else we uncovered in our year-long investigation. Guns
year-long.
were the most common way women were killed. Right now, there is no Ohio law to guarantee domestic abusers turn over their weapons, even when a judge orders them to do so. On your side, I'm investigator Sarah Buttison, News 5.
All right, thank you, Sarah. But here's the thing, right? You see how she said there's no way for them to guarantee they turn over their weapons? That's because they don't want to guarantee. I was a police officer and a parole officer. I can guarantee you, if a judge said, go get this dude's guns, right? To either one or any law enforcement agency, a team is going to suit up, gear up, and they're going to go get all those guns and that individual. So for this woman to say that, it's not because they don't have the capability. It's because they don't care. They don't have the empathy or the sympathy. That's really what it's about. So you know what you do? As black women, you don't sit there holding your head on your hand, feeling sorry for yourself. No, you go, okay, I just heard what this woman said on this news article. Got it. Duly noted. So if I go somewhere and someone's threatening me with a gun, all all right, especially if I live in a state where guns are legal, I'm going to get a gun. And not only am I going to get a gun, but I'm going to use it as soon as I see you. And in addition to that, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get armor so that I protect myself and I protect my family at all costs. That's what y'all need to start doing. That's what everybody needs to start doing. If you know people are gunning for you, you prepare for it. Even if it means if you get caught, you got to sit in jail for a long time. I'll gladly go to jail to keep anybody in this world from taking my life from me. Because my life is more important than worrying about some consequence afterwards. Because the cops ain't going to get there fast enough to help me. They cannot transport through time. So you have to protect yourself. And you have to be that serious about how precious your life is. Because it is very clear. Pieces of paper, order of protection, temporary restraining orders, whatever they are, none of that stops a person from being ridiculous. Especially when they know you're a pussy. That's what they bank on. You're a pussy. So if you would show them, I was a pussy, but now guess what? Self-preservation kicked in, and now I'm going to get all in that ass. Come fuck with me if you want to. That's exactly how you need to be. All bullshit aside. Because if no one else is helping you, you have to come to the reality. Come to the grips of the fact that you got to help yourself. If that's a fucking 2x4 with a nail in it, a samurai sword, a fucking machete, a hunting knife, a fucking nail gun, whatever, use it. Take them out. If they're coming to take you out, take them first. How is that difficult to understand? Especially when you're supposed to be the mama bear protecting your cubs, protecting your children. You cannot do that 6 feet in the ground. You can't. You can't do that lifeless. You have to be here bold and courageous. And I don't understand what's going on with black women. I think y'all really need to stay off of those BWE channels with all these women trying to talk to you about relationships and how you're supposed to try to work it out with these dudes and try to be in relationships with them. No. You need to seriously start searching out everybody that's teaching you how to kick ass, take names, and understand that you are supposed to be your own goddamn champion, your own goddamn gladiator, your own warrior to protect what's yours and what you want in this life. You don't just lay down and let somebody slaughter you just because they feel like doing it. What? I don't understand that shit. I really do not. I don't, because I don't come from women that are like that want to just lay down and let somebody beat on them. Please, I have a great grandmother in my history. She was left by her husband. I told you this story before. Had a house full of kids. She lived down south. And then them clan members came around her house messing with her or whatever. She let her dogs loose. She got her shotgun. Put her other sons in the four corners of that goddamn living room. And had those pistols pointed at those windows. And she said, don't you hesitate. The first one to come through, you take them and send them out of here. And she went to that door, opened that door, and was about to send every one of them to wherever they were supposed to go. And that's how all black women are supposed to be. You don't let nobody put the fear of God in you except something supernatural, which you are probably not going to come in contact with. A human being is nothing to be afraid of. Everything that can happen to you can happen to them. There's no fear in that. I don't like talking about this topic because it makes me angry that black women literally lay down and let people hurt them. Especially in this woman's case. She said she was dealing with somebody beating on her for years. That doesn't make sense to me. There ain't that amount of fear. I need to be here in all the goddamn world. I would literally live on the street in a goddamn cardboard box or underneath some damn, I don't know, sewer system or whatever before I would live in a house with somebody where I'm so scared that I'm getting beat and ragged all over the house. I'll be goddamn. Please stop it. Please, for your own children, if not for yourself. Please stop it. We got little girls watching us. We have to be an example for them to grow up and be strong and not let anybody beat them and decide that if they feel like taking their life today, it's okay because they feel like doing that. No, you have to put a spirit in those little girls of self-preservation, and I am more important than anything else in this world. Nobody is more important than me. Not my child, definitely not no damn man. I have to take care of me first before I take care of my child. So you got to be important to yourself in order to be right so that you can be right for that kid. Please, y'all, please stop with this nonsense of trying to weaken yourself mentally in every other way because you want to be in a relationship with a dude, and you listen to all these women on here talking about workout stuff with people. You cannot work out things with people who don't want to work things out and who only want to abuse you. It's like slavery 2.0. What is wrong with y'all? You're getting into closed, domiciled areas with people whose intent it is behind closed doors to abuse you and eventually take your life. What don't you understand that you should evade? You should not deal with that. You should stay away from that situation as much as possible. I don't understand why you don't understand that. I seriously, I don't understand this. It's really simple. Carry weapons. Stand your ground. Do not let nobody hurt you without putting up the fight of your goddamn life, because your life might depend on it. And then stop being in relationships with these dudes. Stop having kids with them. Keep them out of your life. The less access, the less dealing, the less engagement, the less you got to worry about this stuff. Believe me. They will try you, but you still got to stand your ground and let them know, okay, well, this might be the day, but if you want it, I got it. And stop being afraid. Stop. I mean, I didn't know this, and this is really saddening me. When I think about this and the fact that the death rates are rising on women in pregnancy and delivery because black women are just not taking things as seriously as they supposed to. I did lives on this before. Everyone is aware of this all over the country, that when they got rid of Roe versus Wade and made the restrictions incredible in each state, you're not supposed to be having children. You're not even supposed to be having sex if it's going to cause you all of these problems and cost you almost your life, or cause you to be in poverty with a child that you don't want and can't afford. Get out of it. Say no to all of it. Do like all the other women in all the other countries and just separate yourself from males. It's that simple. And if you are going to have kids, if you don't live in one of the states that have the Medicaid programs where you can have a doula, then you should go out of your way to find out how you could get to another state, apply for services there, and have a midwife or something so that you don't have to go to a hospital where you're going to be subject to basic racial prejudice, institutionalized racism, and straight up bigots that are probably going to let you die instead of taking care of you and providing you with the correct medical care. This is not a slam. This is actual factual documentation that has been all over the news and all over websites explaining the death rate of black women during delivery. So come on, we got to start doing our part too in being completely active in protecting ourselves and removing the risk and the danger from our lives. If you don't engage with it, it's not gonna get you. You're gonna have to be way more responsible than what you're doing now. Way more. If you live in these states that are giving you issues, You need to either get out of those states, move to another state where it's not an issue, or if you're in those states, get away from however you live in that, where that risk factor is that much higher for you to have your life taken or for you to die during pregnancy and delivery. Seriously, black women, you're going to have to step this game up and start taking things a lot more seriously, because it's your life that's hanging in the balance. Oh gosh. It's just like, it's incredible. Like the whole, you know how they have the like the listing of all of the articles, one after one from each on Google, from each newspaper or whatever source the article comes from. It's just all types of madness about black women. Listen. Sorry about that. I'm trying to so I did Google News, right? So I typed in black women, just straight up black women. Google, the first thing is black women dying during pregnancy or childbirth has increased and it's getting worse. 2 days ago. All right. The Root, that was Yahoo Life, was the first one about the black women in the pregnancy. Then The Root, the most badass black women in TV history. Are they talking about the lady that's Chandra, whatever her name is, with all those TV shows, right? Then The Griot, how a black woman gospel singer helped pioneer rock and roll. All right. And then Bossip. Bossip is a play on words for gossip, right? It's a newspaper. And they talk about Black Girl podcast to follow for Women's History Month. That was 6 hours ago. They talking about these people that do that podcasting. And then The Salon. It's another newspaper. Gynecology was built on black women suffering. We're still reckoning with its racist roots today. 2 days ago. Then another newspaper. Shine My Crown. New report finds black women and girls at higher rate of being, higher rate of being, can you load up please? Give me a minute. Higher rate of being killed in Los Angeles. Sorry, that was the one I just did. I apologize. Then, Black Enterprise. Political power. Black women reshaping the national agenda. They're talking about a lot of the representatives appointed to appointments unlike ever before. 11 hours ago. 10 books banned by black women. All right, black women wrote those books. They're banned. Oh, let's look at the banning of which books they are. I can guarantee you 1619 is going to be one of them. Just what I said. All right, here we go. These are the 10 banned books by black women. Maya Angelou, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Now, that's a classic. Okay? Beloved, another classic. The Color Purple, another classic. The 1619 Project, I expected that one. Zora Neale Hurston. That is my favorite book in the world. She's my favorite writer. And Their Eyes Were Watching God. Why are you banning books like that? Another book of mine, that's another favorite of mine that I actually own. Black Looks. It's race and representation. And that book is strictly about black Indians. And I'm one, so I happen to like that book a lot. Because it talks about the entire history of black and African and Native American people being interbred and their history throughout Mexico, New Mexico, and America, and all the history that brought. It's a very interesting book. Very good read. Then, what's this? Hood Feminism, of course. Sylvie, it's a little children's book. It's very motivational for little black girls. It's ridiculous. I don't give a shit about this book. The New Jim Crow, they can ban that one. But that's on there too. It's just straight ridiculous. Straight ridiculous. And the reason I say that is because Michelle Alexander wrote that book, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go down to it. Oh, Grown. They banned Grown? That was an award-winning book. Anyway. Yeah, Michelle Alexander did write this book. I thought so. Listen, I have an issue with her because she's very male identified, very male worshiping. She wrote this entire book on mass incarceration about black males only. Never once, being a black woman, did she think, oh, maybe we need to add in a paragraph, a chapter about black women being incarcerated too. Nope, nope, nope. Just them. Like, black women don't go to jail and serve longer sentences than black males. Like, I get so tired of stuff like that. So, but anyway, let me get back to what I was doing, because you see how I go off on a tangent and get lost in the sauce. Let me go back to the top. That was crazy, where it's like, that Los Angeles Times, violence against black women in LA remains high, even as serious crime drops 2 days ago, right? Then this other newspaper, 13newsnow.com, right? Now, this is a historical black lady. I don't know if many of y'all know who Annie Jones is, but they say Annie Jones, one woman's fight for black women to be able to vote in North Carolina. They did this article on her yesterday. Now, Annie Jones, if you don't know who she was an educator from down south that fought for voting rights. Very interesting story. You need to check it out. Then also, ABC News. State lawmaker pushes for increased awareness, support for missing black women and girls 3 days ago. Then another one. Here's this. The Missourian. Black women elected to top 2 positions in MU student government. I don't know what MU is. I'm assuming it's Missouri University. And then it goes on to the things I mentioned already about how Yoo-hoo life, black women dying during pregnancy or childbirth has increased and is getting worse. And if I were to keep going on, what the hell is down here? More depressing. Some good, but a lot of depressing. Here we go. WTVD TV. Maternal mortality. Black women more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women, CDC reports 4 days ago. History is incomplete without black women. February 24th. That's about the movie, Wakanda Forever, but I don't want to talk about that. Gallup poll, majority of U.S. black women don't feel safe walking alone. We know that's the truth, don't we? The Root, once again, they talking about Erykah Badu and Tyrone. It's kind of funny, but I don't want to talk about it. Girls United. Gen Z and millennial black women are changing the arts. Okay, good for them. NPR, 5 days ago. Maternal morality. Why do I keep saying that? Maternal mortality rose during the pandemic, hitting black women. Then 15 hours ago, what is this? What newspaper is this? I can't make this out. Let me make it bigger. Hold on, y'all. Never heard of this newspaper before. Raw News. What did it say? 76 North Carolina counties are under alert, including Wake, Cumberland, Durham, Johnston, and Orange counties. Study. Wealthy black women dying in childbirth more than all white women. Let me play this, because I didn't know it actually had some video. All right, let me be quiet. Hope it's not 1,000 goddamn commercials.
This is how Aziza Bowser Clark and her husband Jason looked in the early weeks of her pregnancy.
It was a picture of absolute joy.
But for these 2 highly successful New Jersey lawyers, joy soon turned to fear.
We were very, very worried about making sure that we had all the information, that we had the very best doctors that we could find.
In her first trimester, Aziza says she was exhausted. When she told her doctor she was concerned about anemia, the response?
Of course you're tired, you're pregnant. And me, this is my first child.
But this very athletic 41-year-old says it got worse. By her 7th month, she could barely hold her head up and demanded a blood test. The results? She was dangerously anemic and had to have infusions.
It felt like my throat dropped into my stomach because it was there in concrete that I wasn't imagining this.
After 27 hours of labor, doctors abruptly decided on an emergency C-section.
27.
Her son was born healthy, but she passed out and spent about 8 days in the hospital recovering.
Oh,
It was-
gosh.
Traumatic.
And she's not alone. A groundbreaking study reveals a disturbing history of unequal care. Researchers analyzed nearly all pregnancies in California over a 9-year period, for the first time factoring in both race and income. The findings? Money didn't matter in maternal health care. And during childbirth, even the richest black women are more likely to die than the poorest white women.
Just because
Take
they
it as
black.
an opportunity.
Dr. Camila Phillips is not surprised. What's this about?
This is about racism. We're still dealing with institutions, people, and their
That's what I
bias.
said,
Some
right?
people would say that's dramatic. That
No, it's
how
real.
can you say that it's racism when black women are going to the same hospitals that white women are going to in large measure,
Naya.
and they're receiving the same kind of care, aren't they?
So I would argue that women of color, and in particular black women, are not receiving the same type of care, even in the same institution.
That's right.
She says some doctors often don't take black women's concerns about their health as seriously as white women's.
They're not listening, particularly to women of color.
Particularly to women of color, there are terms that often make it into the chart as it relates to black women: difficult, challenging, disruptive.
That means early warning signs can be missed,
Hold on.
which could lead to negative.
They also say shit like actively resisting. I saw that shit in my chart. I'm not gonna say where I was, but I had to deal with a doctor, and I said, "You're not listening to me. And what you're not going to do is make it seem like I'm here imagining things. You need to listen to me, and if you don't, then discharge me. I'll go to another doctor who actually wants to listen and do what they need to do. And in addition to that, I'm going to make a complaint on your license to the disciplinary board and to this hospital and to the state. I'm not dealing with this." Then it was a different reaction, but it's totally gross. Totally gross. Let me get back to this. Sorry, I think we might have to start over. Oh Lord, what happened? I don't know. I lost it. Now, let me go back. Let me see if I close it out and start again. We could actually get it. No, it's not gonna work. Anyway, listen, and I can't see. Yeah, wealthy women in childbirth. Can I get it back? Let me see. No. It's doing that whole ad stuff that I don't want to listen to. So anyway, so we saw that maternal mortality rose during the pandemic, hitting black women the worst, and it didn't matter if they were wealthy or not. Same situation. Oh, here's some decent stuff. WCNC.com. Social group aimed at creating sisterhood for black women in Charlotte. Oh, 2 days ago. Let me check this out. Social group aimed at creating sisterhood for black women in Charlotte. Organization has monthly events designed to build connections in safe space. It has a video. Let's hear what they say. I'm gonna mute the commercial. They're killing me. All right. Here we go.
Women's History Month, but for one local group, it's about building connections with other women every month. You might have heard the saying, adulting is hard. It's not just the financial responsibilities, it can also be the challenge of making friends. Enter Black Print.
Everyone deserves their community. Everyone deserves friendships. Everyone deserves, to feel like they have people in their corner, people that support them.
That's right.
And we noticed as we continued to meet people in these events that there were people like us. There were people, that moved to Charlotte or that were from Charlotte and haven't found their tribe just yet.
The first meetup in April of 2022 had maybe 20 women. Now Black Print's Instagram has over 6,500 followers. There's no membership fee and no age requirement.
In Charlotte, there's not a lot of spaces professionally and personally where Black women are heard and seen, and Black women want sisterhood. We're just catering to that need.
Besides community, giving back is also important for the women.
We donated to a couple of organizations here in Charlotte, and we were also able to donate Toys for Tots as well.
The team hosts unique meetups once or twice a month, from a paint and sip event to picnics at the park, to Pilates and acai bowls. Next event women can sign up for is a ceramic paint and sip on Saturday, March 25th.
We're going to have different purses, ceramic purses for the ladies to choose from, and paint. We're going to have light refreshments, a live DJ.
Sounds like a really great time.
Yeah.
Well, Black Print, has its sights set on expanding in Raleigh next. A lot of their events sell out so fast, so they also hope to get to the point where there will be multiple events a week. If you want to know more, you want to get involved with the group, we'll include contact information and a link on our website, WCNC.com.
I'm going to actually check that out. WCNC. Oh, commercials. WCNC.com. I'm going to check that out. And when I find out about it, I'll post it. But this is good stuff. Yeah. I'm glad it's getting more. Did I speak too soon? Yeah, it's getting more positive as we go down. Look at this shit. Los Angeles Times opinion. What does the TikTok's soft girl era mean to Black women 9 days ago? Well, let's see what they have to say. Opinion. The soft girl era is sweeping social media by the idea of a soft life for Black women isn't new. Wait, I need to learn how to read. Opinion. The soft life era is sweeping social media, but the idea of a soft life for Black women isn't new. All of this is bullshit, and it needs to stop because this is all stupid shit, okay? There's no such thing as a soft life. All this other nonsense. If you're going to treat yourself well, just do that. And that means not being in relationships that are dangerous and hazardous to your health, not drinking, not drugging, not eating poorly, poor diet, terrible sleeping habits. Just, if you're going to treat yourself well, cover all the bases. And you don't need to call it a soft life. You know what you need to call it? I'm concerned about me life. Get out of my damn way. You're detrimental to me life. That's the name of it. That's what it should be called. So, but anyway, I digress. The opinion goes on to say, in the last several years, there have been a growing conversation among Black women about what it means to live outside of the struggle of survival. A widespread intention to reclaim and recommit to what social media has coined as a soft life. You know, it's amazing, right? I tell y'all all the time how they study us on social media, and we need to be careful about the representation we portray because this is dangerous, okay? This is extremely dangerous in more ways than you really understand. Let me go on. My relationship to softness, ease, and pleasure has been complicated, which isn't unheard for a Black woman in America. Now, do these people know every single Black woman in America? I doubt that shit highly. Words like ease don't always relate to the reality of how Black women get to exist in this country. You see what I keep saying about how this shit is dangerous? First of all, This is always painting us as a monolithic stereotype of which we are not. There are many black women, myself included, where we may not be the richest people in the world, but we don't go through life every day struggling, being stressed out, being, what did they say here? Living in struggle to survive. That's not my life. So I wish they would stop this, and I wish y'all would stop this, because everything we do gets taken out of context and gets turned into a huge monolithic stereotype as if we're stupid, retarded, unable to function in life, don't know what to do, little children, women in the world. Can we stop this, please? So then, what is it? What else are they saying? Here we go. The enslaved black women of my ancestry who worked the plantation fields of American South weren't afforded the chance to be familiar with softness. The domestic workers in the homes of white families may not have had the space to explore the concept of pleasure. I hate when they do that too. Stop the shit. Apples don't go with oranges. If we're talking about today, right, why are you trying to compare the fact of today? We actually have agency over ourselves. Whether we do the right thing or the wrong thing in life, that's for us to determine, but we have the choice to do it, right? You're comparing women of today with women who were not considered women of yesterday and who were property, not even human beings. And that's the reality of shit. That's what I have to calm down, because that's making me angry. And this is what people do when they write dumbass articles like this, and they play games with the way our image and our representation is portrayed in media, period. This is a problem. And I know a lot of black women never understand that shit like this is a problem, because they think, I'm too serious, or I'm not understanding, I don't get the point. No, I get the point. It is exactly what I said it is. They're going out of their way to make it seem like you're an asshole. You don't know how to live through life without coming up with all these catchy little stupid ass phrases about common sense shit and practices in regular everyday life. You don't have to fucking struggle in life if you don't want to. It's a complete goddamn choice, period. It really is. Regardless of how much shit the world tries to stack against us, you have the ability to go, I done seen a million fucking people like me go down that road and get fucked up. So maybe I won't go that road. Maybe I'll go another road and stay away from all that shit that I know will fuck me up. It's that simple. It's really that simple. When you grow up, I don't care how screwed up your childhood was. You know that you need money in this life. You know that you need to have an education. You know that you need to be thrifty in every way. Money, education, every way. So you need to do those things that will make you successful, not the things that will make you unsuccessful. And that's what this article is hitting at, that we don't know how to do. Let me go back to that first paragraph. In the last several years, there's been a growing conversation among black women about what it means to live outside of the struggle of survival. One more time, for everybody who didn't clearly get it. In the last few years, there's been a growing conversation among black women about what it means to live outside of the struggle of survival. A widespread intention to reclaim and recommit to what social media has coined as a soft life. Who told them that all of us monolithically was struggling to survive? And that we don't know how to live this so-called, which doesn't exist, soft life, like that we don't know how to use common sense in our everyday freaking lives. Who told them that? This is why this type of stuff is dangerous. We're not monolithic. All of us are not the same. All of us are all different. Whew. Okay, let me get off this article. I really hate that type of stuff. I really do. Adversary group spreads awareness on impact of breast cancer in black women. 6 days ago. This is live Fox News, WCBC, wherever that is. Then the next one is Yahoo News. Single black women are undesirable. Is a popular narrative, but statistics say otherwise. February 27th. And then right underneath that one, the Washington Post. To style their edges. Baby hair they talking about now. Black women are using Botox to stop sweat. Excuse me. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen. But I don't know any black woman that has ever used Botox. I'm sure there's some out there. I know Jada Pinkett is one. But I'm just going to leave that one alone. Underneath the craziness about the baby hair and the Botox is The Guardian, one of my favorite newspapers online. It's dangerous for black women to give birth in Texas. And it could be about to get worse. Let me read that again. It's dangerous for black women to give birth in Texas. And it could be about to get worse. I had to do it the right way, because the way I read it phonetically, and it could be about to made it sound crazy. But anyway, and then after that, Davidson News, right? It's like one of those, you know how Davidson News is a political newspaper, kind of like the Patriot News. Anyway, they have an article about black women still dreaming. Black women writers often unflinching honesty. Now, I don't know what that's about. That was February 28th. Let me just click and see what they're talking about. Still dreaming. Black women writers often unclenching honesty. Honesty about what? What you talking about? Dr. Gil Sadler pushes us to critically examine assumptions about how and by whom knowledge is produced. She greatly encourages robust class discussion and leads the way by being an honest and grace-giving professor. Oh, I know what she's talking about. Okay, this is kind of like an article with the response to literature thing where, all right, you know, like, okay, in women's literature, right? So I'm assuming this lady is a scholar of black women's literature. I'm going to read in a minute and find out, right? But I'm assuming this. When you're reading about literature and you're responding to it, often they want you to try to analyze the politics, the power, the history, the engagement, the exclusion of women, etc., and then compare it to whatever other period they want to try to point out some type of political or social significance. So what does it say this lady does? It says how she teaches literature's relevance historically and in modern life. Okay, right? So it goes on to say, literature has the power to expand our understanding of politics and powers. Politics is not just something that happens in a voting booth or a government body. Questions of representation and aesthetics also have political significance. And then they make reference to this book. I read this a long time ago. I don't really remember it. It is Those Bones Are Not My Child. And it's a novel by Tony Cad Bambara. It's a good read. It's a fictionalized book, but it should be a movie because it's really goddamn good. And basically, let me see what, do they give a description of it? Yeah. It's the story of a black mother who, when the state fails to act, creates maps to track the missing children and forms her own patrol teams to make sure children get home from school safely. Okay, there's no physical landmark to highlight that this happened in Atlanta. You know, this is a play off the Atlanta child murders, right? So we learned that history doesn't always value what we value. Bambara is someone who uses fiction to expand our ideas of history. What counts as history, what counts as fact, and what counts as official narratives. Then it goes on to say, she was very active in the protests for Black studies in the 1960s when she worked at City College of New York. She's also someone who's making history because of those protests made Black studies happen. This is very true. I'm a living witness to this, and I also was an attendee of those Black women's history courses. This is very true, and Black psychology courses. This is very true. It was that political organizing and deep commitment that made what I'm doing at Davidson a possibility. So she's writing for them now. Very good. Good for you, my girl. All right. So, like I said, I read that a while ago. Don't remember it like a lot of books I've read, so don't worry about that. That's just me. What else we got here? Positive stuff. I'm very glad. This is good. Stop removing Black women from the conversation. Oh, yes. 12 days ago. This is the Daily Trojan online. What kind of name is that, right? Stop removing Black women from the conversation by Jana Diaz. All right. With Black History Month officially concluded, Women's History Month is currently in full swing. Not to me, it's Black History Month every day. All right. Where am I at? As Black women, I may think that this time of year must be exceptionally empowering and enriching for me. 2 consecutive months centered around the histories of our identities. They don't really give a shit about that. Like every now and then you'll hear something, especially here in New York, like they don't care about it. Like what? However, it feels as though for each respective month, I'm forced to shed one experience in order to give proper attention to others, rather than being heard. It seems like I'm too woman to be Black and too Black to be a woman. Oh my God, I need a t-shirt saying that shit. But what I've noticed is that with stuff like Women's History Month or whatever, right? They usually exclude Black women because, we're not women. We haven't been women since, and I'm not talking about that ignorant stuff of these men trying to say that we're men, calling us masculine, like we have a penis, when everybody knows that we don't, and a woman could never be masculine, not ever on the face of this earth. It's an ignorant thing to say. It shows a lack of all intelligence in every way. It's stupid. And if you don't believe it, listen to a geneticist explain to you why a woman could never be masculine. They will explain it to you clearly. So anyway, I understand what she's saying because here in this city, it's just like Black women never get any shine. The only time you see a Black woman getting any shine is probably on the evening news if she's arrested for something. But when it comes to the consideration, the mentioning of anything that we earn or we do, that any accolade, you're never going to hear about it. Not unless you see it online and it blows up online to the point where the news feels like, oh, if we don't cover it, we're going to lose some ratings. That's the only way you'll hear about it. But it is really bad here. For Black women in this city, this state that I'm from, it's like we are literally invisible. And they only care about Black males. Anyway, I've been talking for like an hour going crazy on news articles. So I'm going to wrap this up and go to hell asleep. And make sure Naya is controlling herself in some other part of the apartment. So good night, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to me vent about articles on Google News about Black women. And I most seriously am serious and definitely mean it. Please take Black femicide seriously. Please take your safety seriously, your children's safety seriously, and just stay out of these relationships with these dudes. That's Naya again doing something. So, please, all right? Please, have a good night.